this news escaped me, and this is Chris Roberts. I think he put a post up in Spectrum talking about Star Citizen's problems and what's changing. Now, I don't know because I did not get to read this Spectrum post. In fact, I haven't used Spectrum in like forever. Let's see what's going on. I smell, Elsie? I smell good. I smell good, Elsie.
Hello, Ryan here, aka Mac, and welcome. Chris Roberts has commented on Spectrum with good news and potentially bad news. As always, a huge thank you to all of my patrons and channel members. Thank you so much for the support. It is truly appreciated. And if you do enjoy my videos, please do consider subscribing and helping the channel to grow. So recently, Chris Roberts responded to a post on Spectrum which proposed quite a few quality of life suggestions. Now, long story short for this post is that he appreciates the very detailed suggestions, of which many fixes and improvements for these issues are already getting addressed, and those that aren't will likely be made note of. Now, he goes on to say from here on out, they will be continuing to fix many bugs and improve quality of life as much.
I just have to pause for a moment. I think we have our first official boyfriend-girlfriend in the chat. It looks like Futz and Elsie are hooking up in chat here. Can we please get some applause for that? Congratulations to Futz and Elsie for becoming boyfriend-girlfriend. Oh my God, what is going on? Connections happen here. Connections happen here. You know, this just spontaneously happens on our streams live. You should be here live. Wow, man. They're going to have little Twitch babies. Like, geez, oh, Pete's, man. Be careful. And then what's going to happen? I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. Elsie's going to divorce you and take you for everything you have, Futz. Everything. She's going to take your truck away. Then what are you going to do? Then what are you going to do? You're going to come back here and I'm going to have to give you the business. It's going to have to give it the business to you. And Elsie's still going to be here and it's going to be an uncomfortable vibe. And then you have a baby together. And what's going to happen to the baby? How we splitting up the time watching the baby? Did you think about that? No, because you two didn't use protection. You two didn't use protection. Now you got a Twitch baby up in the chat. A Twitch baby's going to be typing up in the chat. Now what do I got? I got like this. What, like, so look at all this. The little baby come up in the chat, and then I got to deal with re-nabba-gadabba-do-shoo-stiff, you know? Jesus, look what's happening here right now. God bless it. It started out so happy. Now look how it ended up.
Just possible, which he says includes many long-standing issues, and thanks to all of the work that is going on for Squadron 42, a lot of these issues highlighted in this post are already resolved. And as Chris puts it, we've now hit an inflection point in Squadron 42's development that allows us to start bringing this work into Star Citizen in the near future, and that this will dramatically change the feel and polish of Star Citizen. So firstly, great to hear this, although somewhat expected, as all of the work going on for Squadron needs to be to a polished, releasable, finished quality. So naturally, if that was then to come directly into the persistent universe, then these changes should feel the same for the PU as well, and mean that the PU will start to feel more polished and less janky in many areas. Now, the potential bad news is regarding the database and the rollout of persistent entity streaming for 3.18.
Am I gonna have all right, I'm gonna take a breath here. I'm gonna take a breath, because this is the important stuff.
We know this was not a smooth process at all, and how it has caused the database to have major issues at load, in which Chris does go on to blame.
Nothing good comes with the peak. You understand, when the bad news comes in, you always see in a Pico. Every time, you know, people, Pico's so evil. Pico compels people to be evil. Every time, don't let this little alien penguin fool you. I keep trying to tell people this. Like, when will it sink in, people? When will it sink in?
Database to have major issues at load, in which Chris does go on to blame the database company somewhat for the software that they got from them, which to me, we can all argue till we're blue in the face as to who's to blame, but it won't make the slightest bit of difference and won't solve anything. So I don't care who's at fault, I just care about what it means for the project and what is being done.
For real.
And Chris Roberts says they have the top engineers from this database company working on it, and CIG are assessing other potential databases to switch to if the unreliability continues with the current one. Going on to say that one way or another, they intend to have this issue solved in the very near term, getting the game stable again.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
Yeah, this smells a big snafu, man. Like this thing.
So that is good to hear that they are working on a resolve and a solution, but of course this means we are unsure as to what the implications will be on Star Citizen and getting server meshing out the door. What I would like to know is, can they still continue with getting server meshing done with the current database, which I suppose they don't know yet. They will continue to monitor this, or do they need to find a new database? And if so, how long would the switch take? Would it be quick? And if a new one is needed, can this be done post server meshing and Pyro, or will it need to be done before releasing server meshing?
My sales radar is going off like crazy. You know, when the sales radar goes off, man, that's never good. That's never good. When your pal DG's sales radar goes off, that's not a good sign.
Now, I suppose the best case scenario is that the database scales fine and there are no more issues from here.
Right, and you guys are gonna see tons of speculative clickety clack vids. Fingers is right. Fingers, how you doing, bro? Gotta happy myself up.
Run out with the database, and CIG can continue to work on getting server meshing out the door.
I feel better,
but
Fingers.
We don't know. Now, this, I would think, will have knock-on effects for getting things like the replication layer separated and then server meshing into testing. So as I mentioned in a previous video, it is certainly a possibility that server meshing for the EVA-CATI on the PTU is unlikely this year, unless they can test specific elements individually, which I don't know if that's possible, but hopefully this issue will not hold it up too much, and server meshing and the Pyro system can come in the first half of next year. Now, we will most definitely get an update on all of this at this year's CitizenCon.
This is concerning.
So we will likely just have to wait until then to get these questions answered. But personally, I don't give a crap who's to blame. I just hope it can all get smoothed out. I feel a lot better after the finger sound effect, though.
You guys are correct on that.
The good news, as I say, though, is that 320.1, 320.2, and 321, the 3 upcoming patches for the remainder of this year, should bring a lot of quality of life improvements, polish, and bug fixes, bringing the playability and quality of Star Citizen up to a whole new level while we wait for 4.0. But that is the long and short of the latest news regarding Star Citizen. Hopefully it is good news at CitizenCon, and if they can address it before CitizenCon, then that would be even better.
Just do it! Make your dreams come true! Do it!
9 months ostentatious.
Do it! Make your dreams
Little poop emoji. Little poop emoji. All right.
Du hast mich. Du hast mich gefragt. Du hast mich gefragt. Du hast mich gefragt. Und ich hab nicht gesagt.
What's going on, DY? How you doing, man? Good to see you. Just a name change. Thank you for those biddies. Ostentatious 9 whole months with a poop emoji. My God, you guys are awesome. I appreciate you. Now, I want to see even more. I'm not done here because LevelCap talks about it, and maybe LevelCap's got some more information on this because I'm trying to figure out what the actual problem is, and I want somebody to tell me. Maybe LevelCap can do it. Let's see if he can.
Yesterday, Chris Roberts hopped on the Star Citizen Spectrum forum to deliver some very welcome information about what's been going on with Star Citizen's latest patch, and even a little bit of maybe hidden info about what to expect from, say, Squadron 42.
Limitless.
Now, Chris Roberts has gone from being a more regular figure on a podcast-like show about Star Citizen to a more behind-the-scenes director of the game, so it's less frequent that we actually get to hear from him directly. But when we do, it's usually about big ticket items, and yesterday was exactly that. Content creator and streamer Tarada.
If the database can't handle the throughput with the input output, dude, that is a huge problem, Ostentatious. Right, dude? Like, that is a huge problem, and that is a misstep. Now, again, we don't know for sure, but you know, like, there's some speculation as to what it might be, but I'm telling you what, if it's the throughput,
who is well known for his extremely impressive flying skills, and
Aether says the problem is SIG hired a company to provide a database. They gave them the specs and the company said it would work. And when they loaded up, it didn't. Hold on a second. I love Aether.
Yes, you're not gonna hit me. Yes.
If that is the case, Aether, that is why it is so important to go in-house and not to subcontract that type of work out. I get it. When you're dealing with that, a lot of times people do. But when you're talking about the database, I don't know, man.
Cinematic Videos made a lengthy post about quality of life features that he and his community would like to see in the game. All of his suggestions are absolutely spot on, and awesomely Chris responded to his post, which is unusual. Firstly, he complimented Tarada on his content, and then dove into a very interesting explanation of why things have been so problematic since the 3.18 patch where persistence was added to the game. His response reads as follows: "This year has been an especially difficult one in terms of stability and quality of life due to the rollout of persistent entity streaming in 3.18. The whole way we track and record state of the universe changed."
I wonder if it's just the overall persistent with the overall throughput because of persistent entity streaming, because the amount of data is increased. I'm wondering if it's just the idea of pushing that through, and maybe it's not the database at all. I gotta stop. I need information.
Dramatically, which also changed the way we...
Does Chris get into detail about any of this, by the way? This needs to be like something that's talked about Star Citizen Live. This needs to be something that's talked about by the people directly, because this is going to go crazy. You're going to see speculation. Like Finger said earlier, you're going to see so many speculative videos. It's ridiculous, you know? And this doesn't help when he doesn't, when there's no detail. Like this is another misstep, and this is more damage control, which is bad timing. We're right before CitizenCon. God, hold on a second. What's up? Let's go easy.
Handle the data in the back end in the cloud. Because of how we record state with PES, we needed to switch to a different kind of back end database.
Yeah, every content creator probably did make this video. You're right, Limitless. They need to monetize you.
So we moved from a SQL relational database to a graph database. Unfortunately, the graph database we selected, despite being one of the best rated ones and intended...
Hold on.
Yes, we needed to switch to a different kind of backend database, so we moved from a SQL relational database to a graph database. Unfortunately, the graph database we selected, despite being one of the best rated ones and intended for enterprise scale, has had major issues at load, causing the database to lock up and all the queries from the game servers to stall out. This happened on the 3.18 launch, where it took a lot of effort to stabilize, including some engineering on our side to lessen the load on the...
This explains the road to 320, man. From 318 to 319, this completely explains all the shit that we've been dealing with, man.
Database. We thought we had this issue solved, but the most recent version of the database software was a step backwards, and we've had additional lockups at load, which was happening for periods on Wednesday, just after we launched the 3.20 patch, and on Thursday, Friday, and very briefly on Saturday. We rolled back to an older version and disabled some of the features last night that we suspect may be contributing to the instability. Ironically, we think the replication to mirror databases for full redundancy redundancy is a culprit to the database lockups. This looks to have stabilized things. The backend database getting into a bad state manifests in multiple ways to infinitely spinning inventory windows, missing items, and degrading game performance. We went with an off-the-shelf enterprise level database for stability and resilience as the
off the shelf. Can you tell us what fucking one you used? Like, let's not say off the shelf. Let's just tell the people what you used. Like, this is the thing I get upset about. This is what I get upset about. What database were you using? How are you planning on fixing? What database you're going to replace it with? You're going third party? Are you picking up Amazon Web Service? Are you going AWS? What are you guys using for a database? Obviously you're going to need like a high performance database. You're going to need a high performance database. Period. Like, what are you guys using? This is the thing that gets me upset. This is understandable why people are going to get mad about this and flame about this. And this is why Cloud Imperium needs to really just say it like it is and be more specific and give details on their missteps. This is why people get so angry. Because they know they effed up, but they got to tell people the details. They got to tell the people the details. What database were you using? What are you planning on switching with? And what is your estimated time frame? That's it. It's as easy as that. Why am I the only person here that understands these things when I'm a Twitch streamer, for God's sake, and a YouTube loved personality?
I'm in a fountain.
Why am I the one with the common sense here? Who's running the PR department? Who is running the PR department? I've talked about this for 4 weeks straight about PR and the missteps and how important it is. Put a one in chat if you guys have been listening to me for the past month talk about they need better PR. They need people to understand what needs to be communicated with the actual fans. Thank you, Hugh. Thank you, Wooks. Thank you, Stunner. Let's get an amen for them.
Can I get an amen?
I have been talking about this for a month straight. This is why it's important to have people in PR who know what they're doing, that can actually understand and make the problems relatable to the average gamer and fan, because they have their finger on the pulse and they understand that the best policy is honesty. Honesty, honesty, honesty. That is all the gamers are asking for. You cannot obfuscate the details. You can't put them in the shadows. You know, some things have to be the sheet has to be lifted, and we got to see what's going on under there. And Christy's circumstance, she's always disappointed. It's a sad thing when she lifts up the sheet at night and she sees me. The sad trombone sound effect was actually pretty accurate.
There's already a lot of new tech in Star Citizen, so as frustrating as the software that should have been rock solid is the biggest offender in making Star Citizen's experience even more unreliable. We have the top engineers from the database company working on this, and we are also assessing other.
I don't want to hear about top engineers from the third party company. For God's sake. Top engineers, they don't know directly who's working on it. If it's an off-the-shelf database, they don't have a clue. They don't know that it's top engineers working on it. I like, this is the thing that just it's beyond me when this shit happens. And yes, I get in this mode and it just gets me upset. I think I need to hear finger sound effect again. Hold on 1 second. Fingers. Make me happy here, fingers. Just, this is what you do. You have to make me happy. Okay. There we go. Okay. All right. That's we have Fingers bedroom mic'd right now. These are the sounds directly from Fingers' bedroom.
Databases to switch to if the unreliability of the current solution continues. One way or another, we intend to have this solved in the very near term, and the game coming back to 3.17.x stability levels. Now, his statement.
Aether's got caps, and he's putting me in my place. I like when Aether does this. You know, I do like this. You know, like when Aether goes with daddy mode, and he's just putting caps in here. I'm just like, okay, man. So let's read it. Let's just read it now. Aether says, of course they do. SIG is spending huge amounts of money with this company. They know exactly who is working on it. I think you need to chill, man. How much money are they spending on it? Do we have a number? Is it on their financials? We should look that up, Aether. I'm curious if they are actually spending a lot of money on this. Like, to me, when I hear off the shelf database, I think not a lot of money, you know? Like when they're using words like that, I don't know who they're using, but it sounds to me like it's maybe not a lot of money, right? Aether, would you at least agree on that one? At least to the wording of it? Can we get like an agreement on that? Because it doesn't sound like a lot of money is being spent when they're just saying it's off the shelf. Like, off the shelf is off the shelf. It doesn't sound very exciting or extravagant or expensive to me. So we don't know the amount of money that they're putting, unless you do, and it's on the financials. But I would definitely like to delve into that and research that for real. Like, somebody needs to say in Cloud Imperium who they're using. It doesn't mean bargain basement. You're right, Coob. Off the shelf doesn't mean bargain basement, but off the shelf doesn't seem very like Star Citizen-y. Like, Star Citizen feels custom, like LEDs, the whole nine. You know what I mean? Right. Like, it's flashing and glowing. You know what I mean? Like, off the shelf isn't usually like custom, you know? Aether says, for a large company, off the shelf is different to how you would say off the shelf. All off the shelf means is that it already exists, not custom. Okay. All right. So the wording is beyond me. Sometimes, you know, the wording gets beyond me, and Aether's just saying, hey, man, just chill out. All right. Hold on a second. Let me have a namaste moment here. Oh, Aether says I need to chill out. I know it's been a long time since I talked with you, God. Do you also agree, God? You don't. Oh my God. Aether, I'm sorry. God has judged you wrong. Oh my God.
Goes on, but I want to interject here. And
he says tomorrow you're going to be struck by lightning. Be very careful, Aether. Be very careful. This is the problem. Every time I ask God for advice, man, it's always... Sorry, Aether. I love you, Aether. You're right. I need to breathe. You're right. He's right. I need to breathe.
Sort of commiserate with Chris on this. Star Citizen is such a crazy, ambitious project that they've had to more or less develop all of the underlying tech for their game. Sure, the game started on the CryEngine, then migrated to Lumberyard, which is an evolution of the CryEngine for the Amazon Web Service integration, but they've ultimately had to do so much work to the engine to get it to simulate, you know, an entire universe that it really became the Star Engine at this point, and there just isn't really anything out there built to support what this game actually needs, so they just have to make it themselves. And when they try to make life easier on themselves by taking an already trusted graph database software and integrate it to the engine, the third-party software fails under the load of the game. It really sucks because Star Citizen critics are so hard on this game for making slow progress, but it's rarely recognized that the game has to invent all of its tech just to exist. I hope they don't have to write their own database software for this game and that they can get it working on the software that they're paying for. But again, scalability has been the Achilles heel of Star Citizen, and if this database can't handle it, it doesn't sound like it's going to be a quick fix. Then again, I don't really know the details of running a giant game database, and Chris seems to think that they could have it solved in the very near term. But again, that is Chris estimating a timeline, so that could be...
Oh no. Oh no, it's Chris estimating a timeline. Oh my God. Can somebody else throw another timeline out there, please, other than Chris? Oh, no. Okay. All right.
I mean, just about anything. He then goes on to say this. We are also very focused on improving quality of life, both annoying bugs that have been around for way too long and some things that we need to address to make the experience fun and welcoming. Your list is great in this respect, as a lot of your suggestions are on our to-do list. We did get some quality of life fixes in 3.20, like the QT HUD being lined up properly, but not nearly as much as the team or I would like. We will be working on knocking out bugs and improving quality of life pretty continuously from here on out. There's a lot of great tech and features that we're bringing into Star Citizen from Squadron 42 that will dramatically change the feel and polish of Star Citizen. For instance, a lot of your suggestions on the game's comfort and readability have been addressed in the changes we made for Squadron 42. The plan has always been to bring this work into Star Citizen. Squadron 42 was just a good way for us to focus and really polish the feel and usability without the pressure of maintaining functionality as we iterated on it for the always live environment of the PU. We've now hit an inflection point in Squadron 42's development that allows us to start bringing this work into Star Citizen in the near future. I'm very excited for CitizenCon as we will be sharing a lot of these features and more. It'll be great to be in front of the crowd and spending time with the community in person. It's been 4 years since the last in-person CitizenCon. So this final bit from Chris is very interesting, and perhaps we can read between the lines here as to what it actually means regarding Squadron 42's progress. When Chris says we've now hit an inflection point in Squadron 42's development that allows us to start bringing this work into Star Citizen in the near future, that actually says a whole lot. Looking at it from a developer point of view, if it takes a long time to migrate features from one game to another, well, you don't want to migrate those features until they're completely finished, so that you only have to do it once. Lots of reports from CIG and other sources have suggested that Squadron 42 is entering a much more completed state and potentially getting prepared for an actual release.
You're not gonna hate me.
Obviously, that's been a meme for a long time now, but this time the information seems to be adding up with a lot more supporting evidence. When Chris said that we'll be working on knocking out bugs and improving quality of life pretty continuously from here on out, that sounds great as well. For the longest time, the general sentiment behind Star Citizen's development was to add features and just move forward with little regard for the quality of life and polish of those features. However, as the game inches closer to having its core tech in a more complete state and many players actually treating the persistent universe like a live service game, it makes sense that CIG may...
Listen, I know that Futz and Elsie just hooked up in our chat. We talked about it on the last highlight. Hi, everybody on YouTube. If you're joining us now, that we've had our first official relationship here. I've pronounced them man and wife in our chat. And you know, they're just celebrating. It's their honeymoon right now. It's the first time they've actually had time together. And so you see a lot of like sweet nothings in the chat you're seeing, but I do want to state that there is no masturbating, Futz, while sexting Elsie. I will put that as a rule. I'm Pepe. Can we put no masturbating while watching DG360 as like a rule in the description? Or no, we can't. You're masturbating. You're literally masturbating right now, Pepe. Would you put that back in your pants? That's ridiculous, Pepe. I can't even believe you right now. Jesus.
Actually be in a position to spend some time on the health of the game rather than just racing towards the next semi-functional feature. The small things like the quantum jump heads-up display being properly lined up now makes a huge difference in the overall perception of the game and accessibility. A lot of veteran players have figured out how to play Star Citizen despite the extreme bugs and glitches, and we almost don't notice them sometimes because we're so used to working around them. And I think we tend to forget that a lot of these little issues that we're just so used to dealing with are actually hard.
Listen, apologies to LevelCap now while we're just talking about masturbation and relationships happening live here on stream right now. Let's not get the screen messy. That would definitely be bad. That would definitely be a bad misstep. Futz, be careful.
Blockers for most new players. Terada made a long list of things that this game could use, and I'm sure he was holding back and keeping it to the most important stuff, because the quality of life things that Star Citizen needs are massive. The devs could probably spend a year easily just fixing everything that's not really working as intended. And I think a lot of players who have been flying around the verse for a while recognize that what's in the game currently actually is quite a fun experience if you're not constantly dealing with all the bugs and glitches. Imagine if they launched Xenothreat without any sort of bugs or performance issues. It would probably be a fantastic event.
All right, that's enough. That's enough. We're way more entertaining than LevelCap. Sorry, LevelCap, we're just having a great time without you. But we're watching your stuff, and it was good. I learned a little bit more And that's I need a lot bit more. I need some details. I need some more details to see how fast and easy of a fix that this will be, that Chris says it will be. It makes me nervous that Chris gave a timeline. Aether is right. I need to calm down a little bit till I get more information. I don't want to be like the rest of the clickety clackers out there. I don't want to be the dude that's monetizing you guys. I'm not that dude at all.
Get mounted. This message brought to you by Predator Mounts.
That's all right. Let's get back to the show.